Captains of Industry, brought to you by Airtel.
Welcome back. Now, of the 31,000 qualified chartered accountants in South Africa, it's said that less than 17% are black. Again, this raises the fundamental question of transformation in a democratic country. It also highlights the severity of the skills shortage in the financial services sector. It's an issue that makes South Africa uncompetitive as an economy. These are some of the bigger social issues that Sizwe Ntsaluba Gobodo will have to contend with following their merger. We're joined by Victor Sekese, who's the CEO of the company, and he's our captain of industry tonight. I've just read through some stats, Victor, and again, it takes us back to this issue of a racially polarized economy and transformation. Now, because of the company being majority black owned, it's assumed that it's naturally going to house black graduates, black accountants, and create a stepping stone for them. That's a good thing in terms of the transformation agenda, but that's a disconcerting thing in terms of the globalization agenda. How cosmopolitan is your vision?
Lerato, what Sizwe Ntsaluba Gobodo aims at, we want to reflect the demographics of South Africa in terms of representation of different racial, gender groups. We want to reflect as much as possible the demographics. Having said that, we acknowledge the communities that we're coming from, and we acknowledge the imbalance that has taken place. So, and in terms of our approach, we'll attend to the groups that have previously been disadvantaged, but we want to reflect. And as a result, we have within our employee, even within our partners, people coming from other racial groups.
I mean, you've also been president of the advancement of black accountants, and again, transformation has really been the hallmark of the work that you've had to do. Where do you see the problems here? First, in generating those highly specialized accountancy skills, and then secondly, allowing these graduates to be absorbed in the market. When we talk about a skills deficit, it's unpalatable.
I agree. I think as ABASA main mandate is to change the face of the accounting profession. And again, its mandate is to transform the profession to be reflective of the demographics of South Africa. Now, I think ABASA has its root as well, its roots in 1985. And we've worked very hard in conjunction with the profession to produce the 17% currently that we have, and we understand that there's still a lot to be done in terms of getting where we want to be, and the problems, and we've done a lot of research historically in terms of pinpointing where the challenges are, and there's no simple answer to the challenges.
But what are some of the problems? I can tell you math used to intimidate me as a student in high school, and I knew very well that that wasn't going to be a career option for me. Is that where the problem is? The
problem is we can trace it back to the schooling system, and we believe that because we're looking for large numbers, so we need to go to the where most black people are, and these are public schools, and I think we need to admit that we still have a long way in fixing the education system, which forms as a basis and as a foundation to prepare the students for tertiary. And if that foundation is shaky, and particularly you spoke about math skills, which are critical for eventual success in the profession. And as you know that there's a shortage of good maths teachers, and I think it's two, it's maths and English. So if you find students being competent in maths and English, they stand a better chance of making it in the profession. So there's quite a number of candidates that enter the profession, and quite a number of candidates in the pipeline, but the conversion into CAs, we've not been that successful, so they seem to stuck somewhere. And with the participation of the profession and etc., and we've unlocked the reasons why they stuck there, and we trace them right to the foundation. So until we solve the foundation, unfortunately, and it's a big problem which ABASA alone or the profession alone cannot be able to solve. I mean, there's been project that we've undertaken as ABASA accounting teacher upgrade programs and all that. But they can only have this little impact.
Give us a little snippet of your personal journey, because somebody looks at you and says, here's somebody who was at high school at the height of racial oppression, when a system worked doggedly to ensure that black people couldn't get into university, let alone study accountancy. And here he is, the CEO of the first indigenously created accounting firm. How did that happen?
Look, yes, I grew up in Mamelodi, and I went to a public school, and a normal public school, and I managed to pass my matric. So when I finished, I wanted to go to vets particularly, and had applied, but to manage the risk, I'd applied to different universities, but the fees at vets were prohibitive for my parents, and they could only afford fees at previously black universities. Yeah. Then I had my stint at University of Zululand. Yeah. And whilst at University of Zululand, I applied for bursaries. And not that I didn't apply when I was still at high school, I applied, but was not successful. And the university was closed midway the year. So, but I was fortunate enough to be awarded a bursary. Then I could then enroll at vets. And at that time, my role models, I mean, people who are coming from my community, from Mamelodi, people that I've known who are older than me, people that I looked up to, had gone to university, you know, the previously black universities, and were in corporate world. You know, they've done BCom and working, you doing graduate development programs with likes of Unilever. So my concept was, okay, I have a bursary with an industrial company. All what I'll do, I'll study BCom, then after that I'll be like my role models and go and work in an accounting department of my sponsor. As it turned out, I think there was this subject at varsity which people battled with, which was accounting, and I seemed to find it easier. And
lucky you.
Yeah, and then I said, oh, perhaps maybe this is what I need to look at. When I went to university, I didn't have an idea of a chartered accountant because I had never seen one. Then the exposure to university then exposed me to say there's something called CA. So then I proceeded to measure in accountancy and auditing. Then when I finished, I asked my sponsor, can you pay for my fees to do a postgraduate? Because for you to qualify, you need to do postgraduate.
Okay, so you were quite creative about your options. I think what you're saying to me here is almost enmeshed in the central ethos of the company as well, this whole idea of overcoming fears and overcoming adversity. Is that your state of mind? Do you always operate in a situation where you're saying, I know there are going to be obstacles and I'm ready to face them?
Yeah, Lerato, I think in a number of instances when we go out, people are skeptical on a number of areas.
And I'm talking about Victor here, not the company. Is that your state of mind? Basically saying, you know what, life is hard, but I'm going to do everything to beat the system. Yeah,
well, from where I sit, I think life doesn't owe me anything. So you basically have to work for anything and everything. And I think I was taught when I was growing up not to take anything for granted, firstly. But secondly, not to believe in anything called luck. So there's nothing that comes by chance. So and because of that mindset, and I understand that things won't come easier. Yes, there will be certain things that come easier. Then if they do, then that's fine. But generally, for every little thing, you have to put your weight on. Yeah.
And is that how you run the company as well?
Certainly, Lerato, and I think these are the elements that have sustained us, and that will keep sustaining us. And again, I was trying to talk about the environment in which we operate, which is generally skeptical, because you said earlier on that we have to punch above our weight. So you've got a lot of stakeholders who are skeptical. So you need to say, give me a chance. Let me prove that I can do it, but let me prove that I can do better, you know. And we always push our people to basically exceed the expectations of the stakeholders.
Yeah, you know, we're running out of time, Victor, but what I'm trying to get at here is Victor Sekese, not the chartered accountant, not the CEO. There's obviously dogged determination. You're obviously also somebody who says, you know, I have an open mind, I'll go in there, see where the path leads me, and if it's successful, it's great. Are those your personal values, or is there something else that kind of makes you tick?
Lerato, I believe that I think every one of us is here for a purpose, and every day I wake up and check whether I'm still living the purpose, and I think a lot of what I do, I believe, is in line with the purpose. I mean, my involvement with Abasa, my involvement with when I was still doing my training, I would assist students at UNISA, assist students at Vista University, and even with what I'm doing currently at Sizwe Ntsaluba Gobodo and the profession at large, I think is in line with the purpose.
Victor Sekese, thanks so much for being here with us. He's the CEO of Sizwe Ntsaluba Gobodo, which has merged to create the 5th largest auditing company in South Africa, effectively, as you heard, of partnerships in Latin America and Asia, extending their tentacles internationally, acting locally, but thinking globally, but also a product very much of a restrictive social system, and within him the dogged determination to overcome that, and it's with that determination that he intends to make Sizwe Ntsaluba Gobodo a successful company. It's Victor Sekese, and he was our captain of industry tonight.